What if Canon's most interesting next full-frame camera isn't the R1, the R5 or another predictable Mark II update, but a completely new body designed to sit right in the sweet spot between speed, resolution, and price? Welcome back to TechVibe. Today we're talking about the rumored Canon EOS R4, a camera name that has been spreading across the photography community. But before the hype takes over, there is one important fact you need to know. As of August 2026, Canon has not officially announced an EOS R4, so this video will separate what is real, what is rumored, and what actually makes sense based on Canon's current lineup. And that distinction matters, because some videos online are already throwing around wild claims like 60, 80, or even higher megapixel sensors, extreme frame rates, global shutters, and unbelievable video modes. None of those specifications are confirmed by Canon. In fact, Canon's official EOS R lineup currently includes cameras such as the EOS R1, R3, R5 Mark II, R6 Mark III, R8, and other established models, but no EOS R4 appears in the company's published system lineup. That means anything called R4 specs right now should be treated as prediction, not fact. So why are people even talking about an R4? Because there is an obvious naming gap in Canon's professional mirrorless family. The EOS R1 is the flagship. The R3 focuses heavily on speed and professional action shooting. The R5 Mark II combines high resolution with serious video capability, while the R6 Mark III targets hybrid shooters at a lower level. An R4 could, in theory, become a bridge between those worlds. And if Canon chooses to fill that gap, it could create one of the most balanced cameras in the RF system. Here is where things get interesting. Canon has continued to improve stacked sensor technology in its premium cameras. The EOS R5 Mark II uses a 45-megapixel full-frame back-illuminated stacked CMOS sensor and can shoot electronically at up to 30 frames per second. The EOS R1 uses a 24.2-megapixel stacked full-frame sensor and pushes electronic burst shooting to around 40 frames per second. Meanwhile, the newer EOS R6 Mark III uses a 32.5-megapixel full-frame sensor and also reaches up to 40 frames per second electronically. Those real cameras give us a much better foundation for imagining what an R4 would need to offer. If Canon wants the R4 to feel genuinely different, simply giving it another 30-something megapixel sensor would probably not be enough. A more logical direction would be a medium to high-resolution full-frame sensor with faster readout than a conventional design. Something around the 40-megapixel class could make sense, because it would offer room for cropping while still supporting strong burst performance. But again, there is no confirmed megapixel count for an EOS R4, and any exact number you hear today is speculation. Autofocus would almost certainly be one of the biggest selling points if this camera becomes real. Canon has already built advanced subject recognition and tracking into its latest professional bodies, so an R4 would be expected to inherit that direction. For sports, wildlife, weddings, events, and documentary work, the real upgrade would not just be more focus points. It would be faster subject acquisition, more reliable tracking through obstacles, improved recognition of people and animals, and fewer moments where the camera jumps to the wrong subject. Then there is speed. A possible R4 makes the most sense as a camera for photographers who want more resolution than a pure sports body, but do not want to sacrifice responsiveness. That means Canon would have to deliver a fast sensor readout, a deep buffer, strong electronic shutter performance, and minimal rolling shutter distortion. Whether that means a stacked sensor is impossible to confirm, but it would fit the role far better than a slow, high-resolution sensor. Video could be just as important. Canon's current lineup has already moved far beyond basic 4K. The R5 Mark II is built around serious high-resolution video capability, while the R6 Mark III can record 7K RAW at up to 60p and offers 7K open-gate recording. Because those features already exist, an EOS R4 would need more than a flashy resolution label. Creators would care about oversampled 4K, high frame rate recording, dependable thermal management, useful codecs, full-size ports, monitoring tools, and recording limits that do not interrupt professional work. And this is where Canon has an opportunity. Instead of chasing specification sheet records, the company could make the R4 a true working professional's hybrid camera. Think weather resistance, comfortable ergonomics, dual card slots, reliable in-body stabilization, a fully articulating display, and controls that feel natural when switching between stills and video. Now let's talk price, because this could determine whether an R4 becomes a huge hit or a camera almost nobody needs. Canon already has strong products across multiple price levels. If an R4 sits too close to the R5 Mark II, buyers may simply choose the proven high-resolution model. If it climbs too close to R1 territory, professional sports shooters could skip it for the flagship. The smartest position would likely be a performance-focused body that offers some flagship-style speed and autofocus without the flagship price. That could make it especially attractive to wedding, wildlife, sports, and event professionals who need one body for several jobs. These users want detail, speed, reliable autofocus, stabilization, and professional video. An R4 that balances those priorities could be more useful than a camera that dominates only one category. There is another reason to stay cautious. Recent Canon rumors point toward multiple unreleased EOS R bodies, with reporting focused heavily on updates such as the R8 Mark II, R7 Mark II, and R10 Mark II. Wireless registrations suggest Canon has new cameras in the pipeline, but registrations do not prove that any of them is an EOS R4. That is a critical difference. A new Canon camera may be coming, yet the final product name and positioning can remain unknown until Canon makes it official. So should you wait for the EOS R4? If you already need a camera for paid work, probably not based on rumors alone. The R5 Mark II, R6 Mark IIIs, R3, and R1 are real cameras with known capabilities today. Waiting makes more sense if your current gear still does the job and you are specifically hoping for a new high-speed, high-resolution Canon body. The key is to wait for an official announcement before making buying decisions around leaked specifications. If the R4 becomes real, watch sensor readout speed very closely first. That one factor can influence burst shooting, rolling shutter, autofocus responsiveness, and video performance all at once. Pair fast readout with Canon's latest autofocus technology and a sensible resolution, and the R4 could become the camera many EOS shooters have been quietly waiting for. For now, the Canon EOS R4 remains an intriguing possibility rather than an announced product. The hype is real, the naming gap is real, and Canon clearly continues developing new EOS R hardware, but the final specifications, release date, and price are not confirmed. So whenever you see an official R4 specs headline, check the source before believing it. This is TechVibe, where we cut through the noise before the rumors cut through your wallet. If Canon officially reveals the EOS R4, we'll break down what changed, what matters, and whether it actually deserves your upgrade money. Until then, keep your lenses ready, keep your expectations realistic, and remember, the most exciting camera is not the one with the loudest leak, but the one that delivers when you press the shutter.